In this video series, we are going to build this social blogging app. So the idea is users can sign up and create posts. So for example, My Nature Photos by Cindy, and they can create posts with pictures, videos, and text. You can go to a person's profile page, see their picture. You'll be able to follow this user once you log in, and you can see all their posts here. Let me log in with a user. I have a user called Bella, and I'll log in. And Bella has the option of following people. So I'll hit the follow button and go back home. And now I see posts from authors I follow first. And then I see some other posts in the system that I may want to look at. So this way I can discover new authors, and I can also see the authors that I subscribe to. I can create my own posts, give it a title, my first post. I can write some text in this WYSIWYG editor. Hey there. I can bold it, I can center it, and then I can upload an image, for example. So let's upload this, and I'll create my posts. And now we see my first post by Bella. Here's my account, and I see my post here. So this is the app we're going to build in the video series, and it's to demonstrate how to use Flask with Filestack and Froala. So Filestack will store our files. We can upload the files directly to Filestack. We can save them there. We can get the URL for those files and display them in our app. And we can also do some transformations on the images and videos that we upload. Froala is a WYSIWYG editor that allows us to format the text that we're going to put in a post. So you saw how I made something bold and then centered it. Froala allows me to do that. And you'll see how easy it is to integrate both of these into a Flask app. So if you're interested in building something like this, stick with me through this series so we can build this social blog app and so you can learn how to use Filestack and Froala. So now let's get started in building this project. So the first thing I need to do is set up the environment. So I'll get everything set up in this video, and then in the next video, I'll start writing the actual functionality. But there are some things that we need to set up, so I'm going to do that now. So the first thing I'll do is I'll create a Python virtual environment. So Python-mvenv, and I'll name my virtual environment env. I'll go ahead and turn it on. And then I want to install a few things. So I want to install Flask, Flask Login, and Flask SQL Alchemy. So I'll install those. Okay, so those are installed. Next, I want to install something called python.env. I'll install that. And then finally, I'll install the Filestack SDK. So Filestack-Python. And that's installed too. So the point of installing python.env was to automatically load configuration values from .env files. So I'll create two. One will be just .env, and the other will be .flask env. So .flask env is for Flask run, which runs your Flask app. And I need to specify the location of the Flask app. So it's going to be in a directory called social blog. I haven't created that in this directory yet, but I will. And then I also want to turn debug mode on. So I can do Flask debug equals 1, and that will turn debug mode on. So it automatically restarts my app when I make changes to the files, and I see more debugging information if something goes wrong. So that's it for Flask env. For env, I want to put the regular configuration values for my app. So things like the database location, the secret key, and the Filestack API key. So I'll add those three here, and I'll be using something in Flask called from prefix env, which will take environment variables that start with Flask underscore, remove the Flask underscore part, and then just leave the rest of the configuration value and automatically load it into my Flask app. So Flask underscore, and then the configuration value is SQL Alchemy database URI, and I just want to put the location of the database. So I put it in db.sqlite3, and for this, I'll just need SQLite : and 3 slashes. So my database will be db.sqlite3. Next, I want to specify a secret key. So this can be anything. I'm just going to type some random characters. The secret key just needs to be a secret string. So for my purposes, these random characters represent my secret key. And then finally, I want to put my Filestack API key. So for this, I'll call it Flask underscore Filestack underscore API underscore key. And now I'll go over to my Filestack dashboard. And over here in the upper right, I have the API key. So I can just copy API key, go back to my editor, and paste that in. So I'll need this API key, of course, to interact with Filestack. So I'm just putting it here, and it will be used throughout my app. Okay, so I'm done with this file for now. I'll come back later. Next, I want to make the app directory, so the social blog directory. So I'm in a directory called social blog, but I'm going to make another one called social blog inside of here. And this will be where my actual app lives. So we see it here. And I'm going to create the files that I need. So the main files are dunderinit.py, models.py, extensions.py, and views.py. So let me go ahead and close all of them but dunderinit because that's the one I want to work on first. And what I'll do is I will import from Flask. So from Flask, import Flask, and I'll create my create app function. And in this function, I want to instantiate the Flask object. So app equals Flask dunder name. I want to use that from prefix env that I mentioned. So app config from prefixed env. And this will load all the environment variables directly into my app configuration. And then I want to return app. So I'll add on to this file in just a moment, but this is the basics of the Flask app. And if you wanted to make sure it's running, you can just type Flask run and you see the app turns on. So now I want to go to extensions.py. And what I want to do is I want to say from Flask _ SQL Alchemy, import the SQL Alchemy class. And then also from Flask login, I want to import the login manager class. And then I'll instantiate both of those here. So db SQLite. And then also login manager equals login manager. So I'm doing it here for organizational purposes. So I'm going to import these two into my dunder init. So I'll say from .extensions, import db and login manager. And now that I have those two things, I can init them on my Flask app. So I can do db init app, passing in the app object, and I can do the exact same thing for the login manager. Next, I want to go into views and I want to create a blueprint. I won't add anything on the blueprint, but I'll create it. So I'll say from Flask, import blueprint, and then I'll just create a new blueprint. So blueprints, I'll call this main, and then it's going to take dunder name. And then back in dunder init, I'll say from views, import main. So this is the blueprint I just created, and then I can register that blueprint on the app. So app register blueprints main, just like that. Okay, so all of the files are ready. In the next video, I'll continue editing the files where necessary. As you can see, we have nothing in models.py yet, but we will in the next video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a directory called templates. So next I want to bring in some templates for my project. So let me go ahead and copy them from off screen and paste them into the templates directory. So I have 6 templates that represent my project. So here's one of them, the nav bar, and then here's another login. So the idea here is that I don't want to write all the HTML across the videos because that would take a long time. So I have the base HTML and I'll make modifications to it as the videos progress. So with this here, I do want to do something before this video ends. I want to bring in the CSS and JavaScript that I need for both Filestack and Froala. So let's start with Filestack. Let's go over to Filestack's dashboard. And then I'll click on number 1, integrate Filestack file picker in your application. And then I'll click web here, and it's going to give me this script tag. So I just want to copy the script tag and then go to sign up, and I'll just put it in the head for this. And I'm putting it here because this is where I will have the file picker. So this file picker is for uploading your profile picture. Next, I want to go over to Froala. So here's the Froala site. I'll go to the Get Started button here. And then for this step 1, I will select UCDN, and it's going to give me 2 links. So I'll just copy these. And then on the Create Post page, I'll put both, because Create Post needs both the JavaScript and the CSS for the editor. And then on the post, I'll put the CSS. So I don't need the JavaScript here, just the CSS. And the purpose of the CSS here is because I will be injecting HTML that was generated by Froala. So this just has some styles for the generated HTML. So that's why it goes here in the post template. And like I said, in the next videos, I'll talk about how to modify these templates. But like I said, I just don't want to go through the process of creating all the HTML. So I decided to have the starter versions, and then I'll edit the parts that are essential to understanding what's going on in the videos. So that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to implement the user login system. So users will be able to create accounts and then log in. And then I'll also integrate Froala into the create post page so the users can create posts using the WYSIWYG editor. So with that said, I will see you in the next video.